friends, thank you for being a part of our Zainey fam. Today we are talking about Instagram, specifically how Instagram varies from its competitor, Snapchat, and why you are using Instagram for what you're using it for. Before we start, make sure you don't miss any of our interactive opportunities, like, subscribe, and share it if you'd like. Follow us on social media, you'll see that below, and if you're a content creator, join us for our Geeks and Beauties community on Facebook. Yeah. So, have you been using Instagram a lot lately?
I use Instagram pretty regularly. I do about 3 planned pictures a day. One of them will be my makeup look in the morning. I'll do like a 10-minute makeup and then I'll show you like what I kind of used on my face in a collage. Then my second one will be, you know, any unboxings or palette swatches or whatever that I planned for the day. And my third one will either be another one of those pictures or it will be a video that's advertising our next YouTube video, so that you can kind of go there and see it. Other than that, sometimes I'll do other things depending on where we are and what we're doing. And then I also do use stories occasionally, but I have yet to use live video. I think that's the one thing I haven't really tried out yet.
See, what she just described is actually some of the best practices for using Instagram for marketing, primarily because Instagram has become a lot larger in marketing these days. When you're looking at Snapchat versus Instagram, they both seem like they're the same thing. They're both about taking photos and sharing them, right? But they're not.
They're really not.
They're very, very different. It's primarily in their target audience and their user interface. So now we're kind of getting into the technical complications of user interfaces. There is an entire profession built entirely around just making user interfaces and what this means for their target audience. Just as a background, Snapchat tends to attract teen girls as their demographic.
And you know why that is?
Why, yes I do.
You do?
Yes.
Awesome.
What do you think it is?
Well, when Snapchat came around, it was like this new hot platform. Pictures did not stay on for very long at all. And because of that, it was a place where teenage girls could take pictures of themselves or what they were doing and post it without their parents knowing what was happening. And because it went away after 24 hours, they thought that they couldn't get caught for doing stuff. Basically.
That's exactly it. And actually, you can see that a lot in how they built their user interface. Their user interface was entirely designed around being hard to figure out.
Yes.
So adults that were very busy would basically be like, I don't know how to use this thing.
But that doesn't really, it's not applicable anymore because adults, they've made it easier. Adults now use it. And so now teenagers are trying to go find another platform that is going to be easier for them to do stuff on.
Yes. On the other hand, you have Instagram. Now, Instagram was always designed to be used by a large user base, and its pictures were supposed to be shared around and stick around for a little bit longer. So while it does do photo sharing and social media things, it's a lot more focused on curation and marketing.
That is true.
Yes.
That is very true.
Now, you had mentioned the stories, which is something that they kind of started to take from Snapchat in that it's starting to branch into storytelling, visual storytelling. It's also introduced its boomerang feature, which I'm not that familiar with, but our friend Chris is.
He is familiar with that. Maybe we'll do that on a different video. Talk about like more in-depth features. If you don't follow Chris, I will leave his stuff right here for you too. He posts a lot of really interesting like travel, especially from around Universal, Disney, in the Orlando area. A lot of really interesting artsy pictures of things. So make sure you're following him. We'll put this link right here for you.
So when you use the two, what do you feel is easier to use?
You mean between stories and regular?
Well, actually what I mean is between Instagram and Snapchat.
Okay, so this is, to me they're 2 entirely different platforms. To me, I post on Snapchat for personal reasons. So I watch Snapchat for people that I follow on YouTube. I want to know what they're doing like on a day-to-day basis, you know, what they're showing, people that I know from online or people that I know in real life, to see what they're doing in their spare time. Instagram, to me, is a place where I can find beautiful pictures, where I can find products, where I can interact with other brands to find things that I'm going to like. And I feel it's that for both stories and for the regular Instagram feed. I was actually listening to a Buffer podcast about this very same thing, and they were saying that that's exactly what it's starting to be. Snapchat is starting to kind of like be this thing where it's only for people to like interact on a personal basis. Are there brands on there? You bet. But it's very hard for me to go and like find, oh yeah, on Snapchat, oh yeah, there's this product that I saw on Snapchat. I can't go back and reference it unless I take a screenshot or something like that. If I go to Instagram, I can be like, yes, I saw this on Instagram somewhere, and there it is. Even if they use stories, I have found that brands will actually post some of the same pictures that they use in their stories into their actual feed, so that you can kind of get the best of both.
And the reason for that a lot is also not just in its UI that it keeps these pictures around, but because it's been acquired by who it's been acquired by.
Exactly.
Facebook has bought Instagram a little while back, and they've started integrating it more and more with the main Facebook. And so much so that they recently rolled out Facebook Stories, which is...
I still have to see, I mean, I think it's just so that they can have a story feature on every single platform. I get it, but it, you know, my whole problem with it is it's very hard to see my analytics on Facebook Stories, and it's very easy to see my analytics on Instagram Stories. So as a brand creator, like a content creator, I find that Facebook Stories is not to the point yet where you would want to use it. For personal, which may be exactly what they mean it for, sure.
I actually feel like that is what they're trying to use Facebook Stories for, because Instagram is being used a lot more for marketing. And they have actually started to blur the lines where a lot of Facebook marketing, if you use those Facebook marketing tools, it will still allow you to work in Instagram for some of that marketing. And so a lot of impressions from Facebook, they'll see what you're doing in Facebook, are very easy to transfer over to Instagram. A lot of social media professionals prefer Instagram for that reason.
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, they just kind of flop between each other.
Yeah, and honestly, when you post things to Instagram, you can also auto-post it into other various platforms. I personally use Twitter and Facebook, so that every time I post something on Instagram, it will go to my Twitter, and it will also go to my Zainey Laney Facebook page, and sometimes also to my personal page, depending on how Instagram decides it wants to do things on that day. You can also do it to a couple other ones, but I don't remember exactly which ones it is.
And that's for the longest time been the holy triumvirate of social media for you, is the linkage between Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Just to kind of cut back on your time. Like, for all intents and purposes, they really... Chris is distracting right now because he's laughing his head off.
Oh, I didn't know I was distracting.
A lot of people say that you want to have different content on different platforms to make people want to go to each one of them. But for me personally, there are some things that I will only do on Instagram, and there are like stories. There's also some things I will only do on Facebook, like if I'm sharing things. And then there's some things that I will only do on Snapchat.
That is that. There you go. So now we've kind of covered a lot of why you want to be using Instagram if you're trying to do marketing, especially if you're marketing for a blog or things like that. Snapchat is still good, but it's a little bit more of a personal use and keeping up to date with particular people.
Exactly.
Facebook, Instagram, they're where you're going to be doing a lot of your marketing from here on in. In fact, most experts, as you were kind of mentioning, in social media, they predict that Instagram is going to completely take over the market share for Snapchat.
That is true.
So,
so that would kind of like is what we wanted to start the intro on, is like telling you why Instagram might be better as a content creator since we do this series. So going forward, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about ways that you can use Instagram, ways that you can possibly boost up your followers, your views, your impressions, your reach, and really get yourself out there as a content creator. And for not only you, but also for me, because we're going to be doing this research and we're going to come along on this journey together. So in our next video, I'm going to tell you, this is where I'm starting at, and then we're going to start to implement these things. If you're interested in this kind of process, this is exactly what we're thinking about doing in our Patreon if we ever start it up. We're still waiting to see if people want to do it, but it's going to be like really in depth and really like us researching, trying to find the most up-to-date ways to do this, and then working together with you guys to really help boost all of your social media.
And just because we're saying that we'd say stick with Instagram for your marketing doesn't mean that Snapchat doesn't have its uses, and doesn't mean we aren't going to be covering it in a later video. Exactly. So stick around. If you are a Snapchat fan, we still love you and we still are going to have stuff for you.
Exactly.
Okay?
So, anything else?
Thank you for spending time with us today. Join us on Wednesdays, Fridays,
and sometimes Sundays.
Till then, stay zany.
Bye.